Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming live on a Wednesday evening from the Carter House in Cinco Ranch, Texas. My name is Matt. We're very happy to have you tonight.
My name is Brylee.
So we figure we might do a little discussion on topics of the day. Brylee picked our topic for this evening is we're going to discuss a little bit about coronavirus. So let me ask you, Brylee, what was your thought when you knew that you wanted to talk about coronavirus today?
Well, just that everything's going on with it, and it's getting pretty annoying just staying at home.
So how long do you think you've been having to stay at home at this point?
At least 2 months.
So you feel like 2 months because you guys were on spring break, and then the next week after spring break, you didn't go back, and then they decided to close schools for even longer. And so spring break was all the way back. You remember when?
It was in March.
March. Now, towards the end of your spring break, you actually got to travel a little bit. So just before everything got shut down, you went on a little bit of a trip with, who did you go with?
With mom's side of the family.
So mom's side. So you went with mom. Who else?
Aunt Jen,
Okay.
Aunt Tina, Sarah, and Caitlin.
All right. And do you remember where you went?
We went to Missouri.
Are you sure? I don't think it was Missouri. It's another state. Sounds a little like Missouri. Say it with a little more conviction or confidence. Mississippi. Yes, you did. You guys went to kind of the area of Gulfport, Mississippi. Did you get to see the beach there?
I don't think we did, no.
You didn't go to the beach at all? You don't remember seeing the sands or the shores at all?
Oh, yes, we did. Yes, we did.
I don't think you spent a lot of time there, but you did go to the beach.
We went walking around, and that was our point where we got to stop and just relax for a few.
So that's been the last real time where you've been able to get out of the house for any length of time for something fun.
Yes.
Okay. What was the best part of that trip for you?
I guess I didn't like when we went out and did stuff as much, more as if we kind of like hung around the pool just all together as a family, kind of.
So you liked being at the house and hanging out.
Yes.
There wasn't as much stuff out to see in that area of Mississippi that really was exciting to you?
Really wasn't. It was, coronavirus was just getting started at that point, so we didn't really get to go see much.
Okay. So there were things that were closed already. Coronavirus was having an impact?
There was some things that were closed and were beginning to shut down for some other items.
Okay. Did you have any neat experiences while you were there besides seeing the beachfront? Was there anything that you did that, oh yeah, I remember that? That was neat.
We went to, we went to this like main building where it had like a whole bunch of different like artifacts from like guitarists and rock stars, like maybe their outfit that they were wearing or like a guitar that they used in that song.
Kind of like maybe a museum.
Yes, kind of, but there were like shops and like restaurants and it was like a casino because there was like hotels. And that's where we went to the sugar factory.
Ooh, a sugar factory. So what was going on at the sugar factory?
Sugar factory is basically what it sounds like. It's a factory full of candy, ice cream, drinks, different stuff like that.
So did they make the sweets there, or did they just have a lot for sale?
They make like the drinks and ice cream, but they have this like section where you can like grab a bag and like fill up on like candy that you would probably find at like a gas station.
So regular candy, but you fill your bag and pay for it that way. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm interested in what was going on with these guitars and musicians and the artifacts. What kind of music? You said rock music, but
it was mainly like rock. It did have some other stuff that I don't remember, but I know it was just not rock.
Okay. So that part of the country is the home all the way up the Mississippi River, which you weren't far from the Mississippi River. So that part of the country is famous for a certain type of music that I like a lot called blues. Were there any musician that you remember that did blues? And maybe not. That's okay if you can't
I
remember.
don't remember, but I do remember a few artists that I did saw.
Some that you recognize?
I saw Frank Beard, like a jacket of his or something.
Frank Beard. Tell me about Frank Beard. That seems like a name I should know.
You should. We've actually met him before. We just didn't get a picture.
No, we saw him and we said hello. So who is Frank Beard?
Frank Beard is a ZZ Top drummer.
He's the drummer for a band called ZZ Top.
Yes, and fun fact, even though his last name does have Beard, he is the only member without like a crazy long beard.
So his name is Beard. He just doesn't have a beard.
Correct.
But the other guys in the band have beards.
Crazy long beards.
Crazy
yes.
long? Like
yes.
this long?
No.
This long?
No.
Even longer?
Yes.
Can't even see it on the screen. Do you have a favorite song by ZZ Top?
I guess maybe like LaGrange or Sharp Dressed Man. Those
I like both those. I think a lot of people would know those two songs. So do you know that LaGrange is the name of a town?
Yes, in Texas.
In Texas. Do you know that that song is about some goings on in that little town in Texas?
I did not.
Yeah. So maybe the next time you listen to that song, you hear him talk about LaGrange. He's talking about that Texas town. Oh, so you remember the line all of a sudden. Very good. Okay. So anything that you have done during the isolation, quarantine restrictions that have been in place, not just in our area here in Fort Bend County, but all through Texas and even in different parts of the country.
Like just at home or?
Well, have you been able to go anywhere during this time that you want to?
I have been blessed to be able to go to my grandmother's and my cousin's house.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just like a really good thing that I can.
So you found a way to be able to spend a little bit of time with some of our family
Yes.
that lives close, right?
Yes.
Okay. What have we done to maybe spend time with family? Are there things that we've done to spend time with family since we can't be together?
On your side and mom's side, we've done a video call with both your family, and we did one tonight with your side.
With my side, correct.
Yes.
So is that helpful, getting to see and talk to everybody?
It's not the same as like being there and being able to talk to them face to face, but it's nice to see them and be able to interact with them.
I agree. I think that is a good exercise for all of us that we can see and talk and kind of check in, even though we can't see them face to face and hug on them and enjoy their company that way. We do get to spend time that maybe we wouldn't if we didn't have the technology we have today. So that is a good thing. What about anything that we've done as a family to try to relieve stress?
In isolation, together we've watched a few family movies.
Yep.
Me and Brendan have played Minecraft together about every day or so, and that's nice.
Who's Brendan?
My brother.
Your brother.
Mm-hmm. And we watched our TV show a little bit.
What TV show?
Friends.
Oh my. That's one of your favorite shows?
That is my favorite show of all time.
So who is your favorite Friends character?
I can't decide that.
You can't decide?
I can't decide.
Do you know who mine is?
Yours is it like Ross and Rachel like mom likes?
Nope, Joey.
Like,
Joey's the best. He's the funniest.
Okay, Chandler is the jokester of the group.
Chandler's the jokester, but Joey is the funniest.
Well,
he's not dumb. Okay. He maybe not as smart as everybody else that's in the show, but I don't think that he's dumb. But Joey to me is the best character. But you can't decide?
I mean,
Is it like a parent with their kids? They love them all equally? Just they love them different?
Well, I like the different personalities of like each one of them, and so it's hard to just choose one.
I understand that. That's okay. Anything else we've done as a family? We played quite a bit of Yahtzee early on. We haven't really done that
So,
in the last couple of weeks, but we did play a lot of Yahtzee early on. That was a math exercise too, so we thought that was helpful. Um, any road trips?
yes, for my birthday.
Oh, your birthday! Finally, we got to your birthday. When was your birthday, Brylee?
April 24th.
So that was this past Friday.
Yes.
All right. This Wednesday. Today is April the 29th. So it was almost a week ago now. So it was your what birthday? 11th birthday. What did we do?
We went down to Galveston. We didn't get to go on the beach.
No, we
that
didn't.
is closed. We saw really really neat houses along the way to our final kind of destination per se, and that was our lunch spot. We ate at the spot, and we ate like right near the edge of the beach where we could look over.
Do you remember what that was called? Where we sat? So we were in Galveston on the island,
right?
And we sat somewhere that we could see the water. We were right at the sea wall. Yes, very good.
Okay,
so it was the seawall. Do you remember why the seawall is there?
Because there was a flood in Galveston and it knocked a lot of the houses down. And in order to keep that, or in order to prevent that from happening, they built a wall that comes quite up. And if you sit by it, it's
how high up do you think it is?
So it's not as tall as you, or it's taller than you. Maybe if you were to stack, I say if you stack me, Mom, Brendan, and you all together, maybe that equals the size.
You think it's that tall?
Well,
so,
it definitely wouldn't be like just one of us.
No, it'd be more than one of us. That is true. So about 12 feet or so, you think?
So two of you.
Two-ish? Okay. What caused that flood?
The Galveston water.
I know, but what made that water come up that way? We talked about that when we were down there and why it was so important to build the seawall after.
Current?
So the ocean rose up, but what caused the ocean to rise up? Do you remember us talking about that? What kind of storm was it? It's a very, it has a specific name, the storm type. No, not a tsunami, but if we were in a different part of the world, we would call it a typhoon, where they talk about tsunamis a lot. So if I say typhoon in like Asia, that's the same kind of storm that would be called a typhoon there. What's the storm? Do you remember the name, or what type?
I don't.
What type of storm would be a threat to a place like Galveston?
A hurricane?
A hurricane, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a big hurricane. Do you remember the year that hurricane happened?
Is it 19 something?
It is 19 something, but do you know?
Is it late 19s or early 1900s?
The earliest 1900s.
1900?
1900, the Great Storm of 1900. That's right. Do you remember us talking about how much the water rose, and to keep it from being such a problem, they built that wall? And it has helped, because there have been hurricanes since then, and it protected the island a whole lot better than what happened in the Great Storm of 1900. So it protected the citizens and their homes and helped save lives and property. So that was important. But it was kind of neat to sit and eat your lunch looking at the ocean, huh?
Yeah, it was a little steep.
It was. It's high up there. It's pretty tall to be sitting up there and looking out. Do anything out that you saw in the ocean that caught your attention as we sat there and ate?
So there's about like two things. We saw this pretty much like everywhere. They had shrimp boats.
They did have
a
shrimp
lot of
boats.
Fishing boats. And then you can see close up, the water is more kind of like muggy and dirty, but then far out, it's clean and blue.
And that day, it was very easy to see the difference between the two colors, wasn't it?
It was like just split in half.
So it almost like a straight line, it looked like. And were there any other types of boats out there besides the shrimp boats? You talked about the shrimp boats.
Fishing?
Yeah, the fishing boats.
I don't know if this was a boat, but it was like oil.
Yes,
Oil.
and here's why I'm bringing that up, because we started talking about coronavirus, and that ties back to what's going on with the coronavirus. So we saw a lot of tankers out, and do you know that oil was on there? And because, do you think people are driving more or less? Do you think they're flying more or less? So do you think we're using as much oil right now in the country? No, we're using less. And that's created another problem with the coronavirus and trying to protect the people. One thing that's happened, especially in a state like Texas, what is one of the most important industries in Texas that we might want to be talking about right now? We just talked about it. No, not hurricanes. What's on those tanker ships out in the oil? So oil do you know that oil is an important part of the Texas economy? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, it is very important. Do you remember when we drove and we were near Surfside Beach, which was where we went to first? There's actually a town there called Freeport. And then even on the way out from Galveston, we drove up a different way than we came in, and we drove by a place called Texas City. Do you remember what you noticed about those two towns?
Does it have to do with something like their houses?
No, not the houses, but did you notice any kind of like an industrial area in those two towns?
Like a main central point?
No, like what were there areas that looked like they were doing certain types of work?
Yeah.
What kind of work do you think?
Maybe.
Did you see like some industrial plants? Not plants you put in the ground, but like places that they may do a lot of work, and there was probably a lot of people.
No,
you don't remember seeing like the refineries or the processing plants? When we came into Freeport with all those big industrial sites where they were processing oil and making chemicals from the oil, including like gasoline. And then on the way out in Texas City, there would be smokestacks. You notice a lot of smokestacks. So you remember those types of places? That is a big important part of oil processing. So that oil trying to come in, but because people aren't using as many things made with oil like gasoline right now, because where is everybody? They're stuck. They're not moving anywhere. So that's creating a bit of a problem for our economy here in Texas and in this area of Texas, but also in the United States. And it's coronavirus has affected those things too, not just us from a health standpoint, but our businesses too. What are you looking forward to most when we get out of being isolated at the house or stuck at the house? What do you look forward to being able to do?
I have a few things. Maybe go on like our family vacations.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for more time out of the house on like weekends because we've been at home. It's like
we've been at home a lot.
And I guess seeing like friends and like family members because we had to delay our family vacation because of the coronavirus.
What family vacation are you talking about?
Is it San Antonio?
So, okay, I wasn't sure because we had a trip planned for your birthday, didn't we?
We did. We were going to go to Six Flags.
And did we get to do that?
We did not.
Do you know why?
Because they were shutting down.
Because of the coronavirus. They were trying to keep people safe. So we didn't get to do the trip that we had planned earlier this year. We had planned it that you wanted to go. And why do you like going to Six Flags?
It's a gigantous roller coaster park.
Yes.
And not like Disney World, how they're like smaller. These are like the real deal, big size coasters.
So lots of big thrill rides, which you like a lot or you don't like at all?
I like it just like when you're building up to that drop, it's a little scary, but
yeah, sure.
It's fun after you go down it.
Okay. So you wanted to talk about our trip that we're looking at doing in the summer with all of our family. That is actually still on as far as we go today. So we expect that we'll be coming out of these restrictions and the guidelines will be loosened, and we'll be able to make that trip just as we have it scheduled. So it has not been canceled. Now, we did have to cancel a trip, but that was a trip that Mom and I were going to take, our anniversary trip, right?
Was
so
it 25th?
it is going to be our 25th anniversary this summer. Good job. It's more important that Mom and I remember what year than you, but yes, we made a choice to go ahead and cancel because we weren't sure, because we were going to be traveling to Canada and then to Alaska, if there might be problems. Plus, we weren't sure that all the stuff that we wanted to be able to do, we are going to be able to do. And we made a choice to just go ahead and, I guess we say cancel. We're going to figure something that we can do for us, but it won't be the trip that we originally hoped for before all of this coronavirus.
You probably should have stayed, because then even if you couldn't go out and like do stuff, you could at least stay on the cruise ship, and that would be better than staying at the house, because then you have like the pool and like the hot tub and the
Maybe
service.
Maybe so, but we didn't want to get stuck. And then even if we did get to go, when we came back, there may still be a need to quarantine from foreign countries. And even though we wouldn't have been in Canada long, it was still going to be coming from a foreign country. So we just made a safe decision with not knowing exactly how things are going to continue. Now, our family trip that we just talked about before that is not very far. It's in Texas. It's about 2 hours away from us. So that's a lot different than traveling to Canada and then up to Alaska and wondering, are we going to be able to get off the cruise ship? Are we going to be able to go back to work when we do get home? So yeah, a little bit different, but I do hear what you're looking forward to. Sounds like friends and family, not even so much things or places to go, but just being able to be around folks.
I don't mean this in like the rudest way possible, but like since we've been spending all that time, I want to get away from you.
I understand.
We've been spending so much time together, and it's just like, I've had enough.
I think we've all had enough, and that's probably a good way to end this evening. So thank you for your time. This is early on in our attempt at doing this, so I thought we went well, especially with just one topic. We covered lots of ground. So let's do a sign off. This is Matt and
Brylee
saying goodbye. Thank you, and see you next time.